Good morning all, and thank you for joining us for this webinar. This is Amol here, extending a warm welcome to all of you. Just to give you a quick introduction about myself, I am Associate Vice President Sales at Upside Learning, and I oversees India sales function for Upside Learning for last 3 years. As far as my background is concerned, I am MBA in marketing from one of the premium institute, and I am engineer by graduate. I have been working with Upside and taking care of India as the region to promote Upside's products and services, and I kind of oversee the whole sales function for India market. With this, I have with me today my co-host Ujjwal, who is product manager for Upside to Go. And with this, Ujjwal, would you quickly like to introduce yourself?
Good morning, Amol. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being a part of this webinar. At Upside Learning, I'm the product manager for Upside to Go, which is a performance support platform that works on iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry. I've been with Upside Learning for the last 8+ years in various exciting roles, right from development of systems to project management for clients across various geographies, to leading teams. Outside work, I like to travel, cycle, and read. With that brief about myself, Amol, kindly could you take the listeners through the webinar?
Thank you, Ujjwal. Thanks for the quick introduction. So before we start on our today's main agenda for 6 key decision areas for implementing mLearning, I would like all of you to quickly give you a glimpse about Upside Learning, what we are. So we are about a 9-year-old organization established in April 2004. And we have been currently, as a strength as 175 e-learning professionals. We have India, Pune as our headquarters. That's where we operate from. We have other offices in UK, US, wherein we have our own local presence. And apart from that, currently we are serving almost 165 plus clients across 13 countries. So that's our global presence, wherein we are catering to our clients. As far as our other geographies are concerned, we are pretty much active with our client based in various regions like Australia, New Zealand, Middle East is another market for us, wherein we have a good presence for ourselves. Then we have few other markets as well wherein we are catering. As far as our services are concerned, so Upside LMS is our flagship product, wherein this is an award-winning platform and it's a full-fledged learning management system. Along with Upside LMS, we are into mobile learning, and Upside to Go is a performance supporting platform which has been used as a kind of LMS on mobile as well, which is primarily available on Android, iOS, and BlackBerry. Along with this, we are pretty much involved and active on our custom e-learning and custom mLearning as well. We have been recognized with more than 30 plus awards by various organizations like Deloitte, Apex, Brandon Hall, to name a few. And we have been active on our various blogs and all that. We have kind of partnered with various research agencies as well, wherein we support their research paper and we sponsor those. So ASTD being one of that, which is one of the US based organization. Apart from ASTD, we are tied up with Towards Maturity, which is again a UK based organization. The reason for sponsoring these research papers is that we want to help organization to take the informed decision on mLearning, and that's the reason that why we are sponsoring these research papers. Again, as I said, so that's a brief about Upside Learning. I would quickly like you to introduce for our today's agenda.
Today, as a part of our webinar, we would be covering few pointers. So mobile learning global trend. So we just wanted to give you the heads up on how mobile learning is moving globally. What are the things which are working and which are not working. Secondly, why mobile learning? Because it is very important to understand in the context of today's webinar that why mobile learning is important for any organization and why they should go for. So we'll be talking about few pointers on that. Then 6 key decision areas for implementing mobile learning, which is our today's main agenda for the day, and we will be talking about that. Of course, whenever we talk about anything, there are some myths associated, so we would like to highlight on few of the myths for sure, and we would be taking jointly you all through that. And lastly, some final thoughts on our today's webinar. So this is a kind of quick agenda. Before I move ahead, if any one of you have any question, there is a chat window on your side panel. You can just type your questions. We would be happy to take few of those, if not all, at the end of the webinar. And if we could not answer those questions, we would definitely publish those in our blog as well. Apart from that, if you are finding any difficulty in hearing us, okay, just put your messages on your chat window. We would try to do something about that. So a quick move on today's agenda, which is mobile learning global trends. So this is the infographics or the chat result or and research which was conducted by an agency called as Ambient Insight, and this is primarily on focuses on the top 10 countries, and their growth rates as far as the mobile learning product sales is concerned. Now, why we are showing this? Because it is important to understand that how things are moving globally. So as per the report, the worldwide market for mobile learning products has reached to $3.2 billion by 2010, which itself is a huge market. And by 2015, it is expected to reach to $9.1 billion at a hopping CAGR of 22.7%. And that itself is a good indicator that why everybody should think about mobile learning as one of the initiative. And if we look at the country by country dynamics of the worldwide market for mobile learning, it is changing very fast, and you can see it from the graph as well. In 2010, US was the top mobile learning buying market, followed by Japan, Korea, and the UK and China. However, by 2015, USA, UK would be more or less the settled market, though USA would be one of the primary market to look for, and they would keep implementing in investing into mobile learning. However, few emerging markets post after USA would be China and India, which itself is a good sign, wherein you can see that the consumption is moving up and high. And if we consider the growth rate for India, China, and Indonesia, these three countries, would be showcasing the highest growth rate, which is almost 60%, and you can see from the chart as well that these market in next 5 years span of time would be growing by almost 60% of that. So I mean, having understood how the numbers are and what the numbers are, it is very imperative to understand the ecosystem of the mobile learning, because I'm sure many of you who have joined the webinar today, they have this thing in mind that what it constitutes as the ecosystem for the mobile learning. And trust me, I mean, it is the gamut of various things which are there, which has been represented on your site right now. It constitutes right from your value-added services product, which may go down some time from now, to let's say package content and e-nuggets which you can give through this. Apart from that, there are some part of this ecosystem could be your personal learning devices, installed platforms, SaaS-based tools and platforms which will be working on mobile as well. So this is a kind of quick representation of mobile learning ecosystem. Then this is a kind of representation of the growth rate product wise as well. Again, the reason for showing this slide is that we would be talking more about how mobile learning would be moving in future and what it constitutes of. So once we understand the ecosystem, what all it constitutes of, then this chart specifically shows, and you can see that mobile learning VAS is one of the thing which is showing the highest growth rate, followed by custom content and package content. So though VAS is there, but that is primarily because there are markets like Africa and America which may be using this product. But package content and custom content services is something, and that too on mobile, is something which is going to contribute to the whole growth story, or to the whole success story of mobile learning. So these are the global trends which you can see, and this is how it is coming right now. So before we move ahead, we have a quick poll for our audience, and we just wanted to understand few things from you after giving the insight on the global trends. I just would request you to participate in one of the quick polls, which is which of these is true for your organization. Have you already implemented mobile learning? Are you currently planning to implement, or else are you planning to implement after some time, or else there are no immediate plan? The reason for this poll is that we just want to understand what kind of audience we have. So the poll will be up for a few seconds, and post that we will come to the results. Can we have the poll, please? Yeah, I think we have the poll results with us. I will just quickly read out those poll results for you. So 27% of the people are saying that they already have mobile learning implemented. 36% are saying that they are planning to implement mobile learning in next 3 months, and 9% are saying that currently they are implementing mobile learning. So that's pretty much in line with what we had thought of. In the context of this, definitely, as most of the people are either planning to implement, or currently implementing, or already have mobile learning implemented, I'm sure they must have faced certain challenges. So I'll quickly would like to have a second poll as well. So there is one more poll, and we just wanted to understand some key reasons for implementing mobile learning, and what are the reasons for you going for mobile learning. So can we just have few seconds of here as the next poll, and we will then continue from there. So there is a poll on your screen. Can we have the poll, please? And and this is a multi-select, so possibly you can choose multiple reasons as well, which should be okay. So the poll will be up for a few seconds, and then we'll move ahead. Yeah, I think we almost have got poll results with us. I'll just read out those for you. And thank you for participating in the poll. Yeah. So as per the poll results, I think 33% of the people are saying that they wanted to implement mLearning because of the growing workforce, and 67 and 78%, which is a very huge number, and as expected, yes, to manage the learning workforce on the move, and high usage of mobile learning devices. So I think and 0% are saying that this is because of the competition, but it's a little strange for us as well. But yes, audience is always right. So Ujjwal, any quick thoughts on these two polls as we have understood? So what is your say on this? Because you keep talking to lots of customers when it comes to product and implementing mobile learning products. So do you see usually these as the major reason for implementing mobile learning?
See, if you see, 33% have been on to growing workforce, and at some level also you see 67% who want to manage learning for workforce on the move. Could be a subset also of one another, a combination wherein, let's say, you have a sales team out on the on the floor, out on the road. You don't want to get them back, but you want to give them updates about your products. You want to tell them and have the number of people. It also for 33% where it's a growing workforce, I think mobile learning is a way to scale up training needs also. So if you have been using e-learning and you were able to train 100 people, with mobile you might just be able to train 200 people or 150 people, So definitely in line. I was a bit surprised that nobody had gone in for, because competition is doing it. Because as a person within an organization, one of the areas where I was thinking as a usage was maybe you're into insurance or banking sector. Say bank XYZ is offering a service, and this may not be mLearning or training in the true sense only for their employees, but it could be for a customer to let them know about their latest product offerings. So bank, ABC is offering this, but bank XYZ is not doing that. So in that thought, maybe because of competition might also be one of the factors people would get into it.
Thank you, Ujjwal. Thanks for that insight, and I'm sure this comes from the interactions with lots of clients. So now, having understood, we will quickly move on our next pointers. So the global trends and why everybody wants to implement. Yes, I mean we need to understand why mobile learning, why people wish to implement or go for a mobile learning. So we have kind of identified few of the pointers which we believe these are based on the interaction with our clients, and we would like to present those, that why mobile learning. I quickly would like to read one quote from Clark Quinn, which says, mLearning is the intersection of mobile computing and e-learning that includes anytime, anywhere resources, strong search capabilities, rich interaction, powerful support for effective learning, and performance-based assessment. Now, if you see the quote and if you observe few of the pointers there, so one is intersection between mobile computing and e-learning, which itself is a big factor in overall decision making. Apart from that, yes, anywhere resources is another key thing. So anywhere is something which is the key parameter or key thing which helps mobile learning for any organization to solve the purpose. So, and lastly, performance based, or let's say support for effective learning. So yes, mobile learning does act as a very productive tool when it comes to performance support and all that. So with this, I would like to present a quick infographics or a quick representation of what mobile learning is and how it has been pursued and what all opportunities mobile learning can bring. Because if you see the infographics here, you will realize that mobile is everything, or nowadays you can find everything mobile everywhere. So though traditionally we have been doing e-learning, but now mobile being available everywhere, mobile learning should be considered as the supplementing to e-learning. If we have to talk in technical terms, technically mobile learning is anything which is delivered through mobile devices with and with a traditional e-learning, we may have restrained many opportunities to train or educate our target audience. However, these opportunities are being opened by mobile learning or mobile devices being available. So if you see the screen above, you can see that through mobile learning you can do various or you can explore various opportunities, like a quick let's say support feedback, or let's say mentoring you can do through mobile learning. You can do coaching as well if you have some good videos. Some just-in-time help required. So we definitely would be covering few of these points during the course of our webinar. Apart from that, key areas are like on-the-go support, reinforcement of training programs. So let's say if you have any classroom training program done, you can reinforce through this. So we see these as the opportunity which possibly could have been restrained because of e-learning, which now you can explore because you have accessibility to the learner. Learner is always available on the move, on the go to you, and you can explore and deliver whatever things you wish to. So a few pointers, as I mentioned, why mobile learning. So we have picked up few of the things, and of course these are not all. Definitely there would be few more points, and we have to try to pick best of those. So a growing mobile workforce, because if you see our poll, there also people have said yes, they have this as a challenge. So if you see the chart here which says that in 2010 the population of mobile workforce were pretty less worldwide, which was 1 billion, and by 2015 this population at the CAGR of 37.2% will grow to 1.3 billion. So definitely now we cannot ignore this population, and we definitely think and consider this as one of the key parameters for going for mobile learning. And yes, smartphones coming into picture, this definitely is going to help us. Second reason for considering mobile learning is shift in computing. Now gone are those days wherein people used to sit front of their PCs and they kind of spending time in front of that. Now people like to move and they are always carrying their devices. So you can see the usage or global internet device sales basically. So if you consider the figures, the numbers of personal computers sales is coming down, and smartphones and tablets are zooming up, which shows that people like to do their stuff or regular stuff even on mobile or tablets, and that's an opportunity which we can leverage as a support to why mobile learning. Thirdly, personal behavior patterns are changing. So initial days people used to have mobile for only sending SMSs or for, let's say, having a telephonic conversation, but now that trend is changing. So if you see this research here which is published by Go Globe earlier, that shows that still 92% of the people uses mobile for text messages. Then there is 84% for internet browsing, 76% for email checking and all that, and of course social networking sites, which is growing, almost has reached to 59, which we anticipate will touch almost 75 to 80 over a period of time. That shows that yes, the user is now using their mobiles for multiple things. It's not restricted to only SMSing or only emails. There are multiple things people want to do with their devices. So this pattern we must understand as a functional heads, and we should consider this as a supportive to our mobile learning initiative. Next is yes, some changing behavior patterns. So if you see the graph here which talks about the consumption of the smartphone devices by various age group, and you can see that 25 to 30%, the age group of 25 to 34 years has maximum penetration, which is 62%. Now if we consider this is the generation which has been grown with Google, they have been living with Google and Facebook and all those sites, and we need to understand their psychology as well, and this is the audience, or this is the target group which is going to be there within your organization over a period of time. So this is the time wherein the platform is set. We need to understand that your target audience is already into it, and this is the time wherein you should think of implementing mobile learning. Last but not the least, which is changing learning patterns. So everybody uses and they have their own ways of learning things. Somebody may learn things by observation, somebody may learn things just by doing classroom based training, or somebody may learn things just by talking to someone. So everybody has a different need for learning or different ways of learning. And if you see the retention versus the time scale, you can see that event-based training has the lowest retention, and you need something to extend that learning beyond those classroom or brick and mortar model. So as I said, there are lots of opportunities which we can utilize. And if you see, every time if you are implementing mobile learning, your learning curve will be always extended. So you can always have something as a reinforcement of your training program. You may always have something as a teaser or something as the enhancer or enabler followed to any of the training initiatives that you do, which means that you are actually connecting with your end users, or you are actually connecting to your learner for various learning needs on timely basis. So you are not dependent on only one device or only one platform, but you are like kind of ensuring that you are communicating the messages right time, right place. Now, having understood why mobile learning is important, what are the global trends, and what are the reasons why people are getting into it, I'm sure we have laid down the foundation for to take up our main agenda, which are 6 key decision areas for implementing mobile learning. And I would like to hand it over to Ujjwal, who would take you through that, and would let you know that what he feels based on his interactions with his clients. So Ujjwal, over to you. And
Thank you, Amol, for giving an insight into the potential of mLearning and why to go in for it. With that as the base, the factors leading to the approach for implementation of mobile is something we are addressing in this webinar today. Just prior to getting into that, I would like to conduct a poll of what each of you think are challenges in implementation of mobile learning. So for the next 30 seconds, the poll would be live. I request you to kindly place your opinions via a vote. Can I have the poll, please? Thank you very much for casting your votes. I can see 43% of people have voted for right business case and strategy. 29% management buy-in. User adoption is 50%. That's a very high. 36% have said content availability for mobile, and 71% technology concerns. So I think once I've gone through the 6 basic steps, or what I would like to call as, instead of decision areas, as steps, I hope I can convert some of you from the 71% to maybe a different number, or have you have much more clarity on implementation. So Amol, any thoughts on this poll?
I think the polls are, at least for me, are in line with what I have been also observing as a trend into the market. And yes, as you said, technology and management buy-in are definitely kind of 2 things. Apart from that, the user adoption. So yes, I think I'm not surprised to see the results, and happy to see that what we are observing into the market, people also are thinking on the same lines.
Thanks, Amol. With the poll results available and knowing the challenges faced, over the course of the next few slides, let me try to provide some guidelines or steps to help you in deciding on implementation of mLearning. Sequentially following these steps will help you make a decision on taking mLearning on board, and also acts like a checklist when moving towards mLearning. Step number 1 is to identify the need for mobile learning. Step 2, assess the readiness of your target audience. Step 3, identify the devices and the platforms to be supported. Step 4, deciding on technology bites. Step 5, deciding on relevant content. Step 6, security concerns. Having this image in front of you, it's like a quick checklist. Each of these I will be taking you through in more detail as we progress through the webinar. Let's take 3 scenarios. You are the product head that needs to train your sales team on the latest products just released by your company. The training needs to cover how to use the product, what all compliance standards followed, and what are the pricing. That's scenario 1. Scenario 2 is you are a professor who needs to attend a conference and has to give a set of assignments to your students when away. Scenario 3 is you're a student, part of a study group, but each of you wouldn't like to be or are not able to make it to the meetings of the study group. In each of the above scenarios, there is a very big need for mobile learning, where mobile learning actually addresses or solves something. So just sticking with the scenarios, where does mLearning help? In the first case, it helps to achieve a training of your sales team without having to call them off the field. Not only that, it is just-in-time reference also when they're meeting clients. So that's where we say that it's like a performance support system also. In the second scenario, the professor can upload a document with the assignments and share it with the students. In the third scenario, the students can use their mobile devices to discuss their notes after going through a topic. For example, one of the best mobile learning tools out there is WhatsApp. You anyway discuss a lot of things onto that. Why not use that also as a learning tool? Or of course, there's Upside to Go also. But sorry, that's the marketing person in me. So identify your needs, requirements, or in certain cases your pain points, and see if mLearning is helping to solve these. Moving on to the next. mLearning is a completely different ballgame from e-learning. At some level, I feel that mLearning requires a higher initiative from the user to go to the mobile device and learn. Checks need to be done as to whether your users are going to be using their devices as learning tools. For example, all your training is going on via a learning management system. How do you get your users onto their mobiles to consume the same stuff? At this point, it's also important to get your management or whoever is the driving force of mLearning within your organization as part of the process. Reason for this could be you might not have all the required devices also, but you have content that can be put out on mobile devices. So then who's going to purchase those devices? Your management. In case you're already a user of e-learning, then mLearning can be your next step and can also, since you've seen people going on to the learning management system, consuming videos, going through podcasts, something similar can also be moved on to the mLearning, and that fits into your overall learning strategy. Step 3, with so many platforms out there in the market, what should be our target device? A simple way is to see which all devices are your users using, or in certain cases we've actually had where we were talking to a prospective customer, they had an analysis phase of what is the popular devices within their organization. In case you want to standardize it, you may then move on to providing all devices as an organization to your users and not, go on to the devices that they have. While many are onto smartphones and tablets, if you notice in the picture, we have kept the good old Symbian OS, phone 2. The mLearning can be implemented on that also. Case in point here is interactive voice response, better known as IVR, which is nothing but your everyday dial-in, and then you get a voice saying press 1 for so-and-so, press 2 for so-and-so. This scenario has actually been implemented by a pharmaceutical company to train people in remote locations. So device identification is also necessary, as it will take you to identify the resolutions that you need to target. Your content needs to be modified accordingly so that it looks also good and presentable as well as usable on each of the resolutions that you are targeting. Having said that, once you've identified your devices, it also is imperative or a kind of a corollary or a add-on that you're going to figure out the platforms that you're going to support. I've shown the common popular platforms these days: iOS, Android, Windows Mobile, and BlackBerry. Figuring out the platforms that you would be supporting is necessary, as it will help you in your strategy for selecting a solution from an app standpoint that can cater to all the platforms, selecting individual apps that cater to each platform, what all devices fall under each platform, and that also gives you clarity on what all resolutions are out there, as well as what all OS versions are you going to be supporting, as these are just top level, but you might have an iOS 7, you might have an iOS 4 and iOS 5 out there. Benefits of using the devices that your users are using is that your IT team benefits from a simplified infrastructure, as there is a reduction in end user device management. So over here, it is also popularly known as bring your own device, or BYOD. Now the second benefit of that is familiarity is there with the user of their with their own devices. So it reduces your learning curve and might just make acceptance of your mLearning tool or mLearning, just helps it out. But having said that, in certain cases, it may be that you would like to keep the devices in sync with the technology being used within your organization. Your organization is a Microsoft fan. All your systems are on Microsoft. You would like to standardize and keep your user teams on Windows devices. This means syncing in with the overall ecosystem as well. So just to recap, since we've reached the halfway point, you have identified the need, your target audience is ready, and the platforms and devices are also known. Next step is to go technical, and I hope the 71% of people who had technology concerns, I'm able to address some part of it over here. Not all of it, but hopefully 71 might just reduce. So native apps are apps that are developed using the technology offered by each operating system. This is only for those people who've not known what is the difference of whether we should go in for a native app or whether we go in for a mobile web app. If you go in for a native app, Apple has its own Xcode. BlackBerry and Android devices allow development using their respective platform. Each of these are then hosted onto the app stores. So there's a little bit of, you need to understand, once I develop or using maybe an Xcode, how do I put it onto app store? So a bit of a learning curve over there. The second and the easier way is using the browser of the mobile helps in development and easy distribution, which is what we mean when we say mobile web. HTML5 has actually worked out as a good a boon for iOS, Android, Windows, and BlackBerry. So the same content can now be used on different platforms, only the format needs to be right. In case, I'm just not talking from a sense of using mLearning for courseware, but you've got videos. If your videos are in MP4 format, then they can be supported on all the above mentioned devices. Similarly, if you've got podcasts which are in MP3 formats, they can be supported across multiple device platforms. Last but not least, if you've got documents which are in PDF format, you can use those also, as is, and start rolling them out as mLearning. For those using an LMS, tracking is of essence. So tracking of learning done on mobile devices and integrating with that with your LMS is also a possibility. In most cases, I would say from our experience, it's also a need. Lastly, you might have the capability in-house to build, mobile learning. You might have worded, you might have documents, videos. You just have also technology capability of going out there. In case not, then you should look out for maybe tools that are readily available for mLearning. Maybe there are courses that are already authored for mobiles. There are maybe videos that are being made mobile compliant. There are apps out there which are case in point Upside to Go, which is out there, which is used for training or performance support. So taking on a tool has its advantages. Developing in-house also has its advantages. Taking on a tool gives you an added advantage of not having to manage the next version that's coming out. How do you support it? You are provided with all these. Can you just take a second to look at the picture shown? This man is on a ladder with one hand occupied to hold the wire. Let's say he's got a query of what to do later, in this task. What would be of assistance to this man is, in this case, he wants a quick reference. If on his mobile is able to see the steps of what is to be done to do his job, wouldn't it be useful? So the context in which the content is provided for mLearning is also necessary. Not necessarily that all your e-learning content would move on to mLearning. Some cases are better looked at on a desktop than on a mobile. Case in point is you might have videos which are like an hour long. Let's say we are on an iPhone. It might just be a little difficult to consume or complete 1 hour video, but breaking them down into 4 to 5 minutes or 10 minutes chunks would be much more usable and something that the user can easily consume. Of course, I've just talked about iPhone in terms of a mobile, but if you are on an iPad or one of the tablets, then of course you can think about varying the timeline for maybe moving it from 5 minutes to 15 minutes, 20 minutes also, because it's much more easier to use and hold and a larger screen. So with this, I've come to one point, which is the relevant content and inline context. One of the explaining where videos, which I feel are one of the easiest or simplest ways to get onto mLearning, and which via a case study, which I would like to explain. One of our clients is within UK, which is an FMCG company, has been using videos as well as worded PDF documents to be updating their users onto, or their dealers rather, on the latest products that have been released by them. So what they're doing is they're showing a usage of how to use the product via a video. They're using PDFs to let them know what are the risks, because some of them have to be safety compliant. Some of them, what are the risks associated with that product, as well as what are the pricings that need to be set for that. So this is one way. To come to training reinforcement, one of our clients is into the network domain, where they do training on networks as well as how to, what is cloud computing, so on and so forth. And they've actually, once they are through with their training, in case any person wants to go around, or a network engineer wants to go around and quickly see how this server is to be configured, ready videos are available in addition to courseware also. So this is a combination where they're reinforcing, though they have gone through one level of training, and come back and made it available at their fingertips. We have already gone through the one-handed operated scenario and discussed on the IVR as well. Coming to the last point, security. Strangely, during the course of planning for this webinar or preparing for it, I came across a blog that says mobile phones are more secure than desktops. The thing with security is that each of you will have a different need for the level of security. Say a bank may have a different level of security needed as opposed to a student. This, however, is one of the most frequently asked questions and concerns. What if the phone falls into the wrong hands? What happens when the employee leaves the organization? So on and so forth. You'll have to address, or what I would like to say, a problem which needs to address once you are at the bridge. Then you cross it only once you arrive at the bridge. To each of these, there is a solution, of course. But bear in mind that it's not a standard one. Each will be having their pros and cons. Let's say, for example, you say you don't want the user to be able to download content onto the mobile device, then you're foregoing, though that is a pro from a security stand, it's a con from your moving away from offline usage, which could also be something they need when they're not connected to the internet. Management of mobile devices is something that your IT team can take care of. Data encryption on the phone or not allowing data to remain on the phone after use is a second solution. Tools like Flurry, which are freely available, allow you to analyze who is using what, or where is the usage coming from. So with that, I would like to say that I have covered the 6 key decision areas for deciding on implementation of mLearning. Obviously, there would be more, but from our standpoint, plus our experience both as an implementer as well as a salesperson, we have come out with these 6 areas which could act like a checklist and a guiding force for you. With that, I would like to say that whenever I and Amol have gone or we met with prospective clients or someone who wants to go in for mLearning, we come across a lot of misconceptions. Over the next 2-3 slides, let us just take you through those myths and help clarify and bust them. First one is small screen size is unsuitable for learning. As I showed you, within the devices that we identified, there will be definitely various screen resolutions, though over a period of time this has still become a little standardized as per each OS, but still it's varied. Not to worry, you still have content that can be modified to suit the resolution of the target devices. We've done this right from a range of iPads, iPhones, Android versions 2.2, 2.3 to 4.0 to the latest one of 4.2.1. And even if the screen size is small, delivery of that content or the content usability or the look and feel has been modified to make it suitable for small screens. Myth number 2 is, you create the content once and use it as is. This is a little bit, I would say you need to identify your devices and the resolutions that you are targeting. Modify your content. Yes, the same content in terms of videos, you could have maybe 2 different set of resolution videos. The same could be working. Or you could, let's take the case of a courseware where you have a resolution of 1024 by 768 on the iPad, whereas on the phone it might be 320 by 480. But what do we do over there? The way content takes the screen resolution and is rendered according to the screen size. So you have to make a little bit of modification. One size doesn't fit all, but one content in terms of the material within that can fit. For those within the e-learning, they would say maybe SCORM compliancy is a must. It's not really. To be very honest, over a period of in the last many implementations of Upside to Go, I have noticed that people want to try and get the content that they have with them onto the mobile as is without any compliancy, but they still want some tracking. In which case you can make changes within the app, or you could also have it so that that when to mark a course is completed, when to mark a course is taken. You can also have the time spent. You don't necessarily need the content to be SCORM compliant, but compliancy just helps, because if your LMS is SCORM compliant also, it could be a talking and your mobile needs to talk to that, and you want the same course to go onto the phone, then of course it's SCORM compliancy, because then you don't have to make too many changes within the LMS also. It's not secure. Again, we've covered this point as one of our key identifying areas. It is secure, but measures need to be taken. Measures are available, as we have seen within our slide on security. Amol, would you like to take them through the remaining 3?
Yeah, thank you, Ujjwal. Thanks for the earlier insight as well on 6 key decision parameters and covering few myths. So yes, I mean these are again the questions which we kind of think that are always there into the mind of the prospects or customers.
and these have been asked by many of clients. So we just thought of clarifying and taking an opportunity to clarify those during this webinar. Next obvious question, and this is again whenever I go and meet any of the customers, they say, oh, we just want you to convert our e-learning into mLearning, and we wanted to deliver it on mobile. So no, I mean, hang on, I mean, that's not the case, because e-learning and mLearning, as we mentioned, are definitely two different contexts, and the usage is being derived from what is the purpose that you wish to use that for. So e-learning on the phone is definitely is not same as that of mLearning on the phone, and it's a little different. So that's there. Secondly, mobile content is expensive to create and distribute. To an extent, yes, I kind of agree to this statement whenever I talk to the clients. But if you plan your content strategy or else development of your content strategy properly, I'm sure you would get to know that it is not that expensive, because nowadays there are lots of ready-made tools available into the market which allows you to convert your courses or content into mLearning content. Apart from that, it is equally not important to convert every content of your e-learning into mLearning, because there are challenges when it comes to mLearning which are like attention span of a learner, which are challenges like screen size, as we mentioned, though nowadays it's not, but yes, that could be one of the key areas to look at. And based on that, we advise that you should consider and prioritize your content to be shown onto the mobile. So anything and everything which is as a part of your e-learning should not definitely go on mobile. And if you could prioritize and decide on what all things you wish to give, like let's say a product brochure, or let's say some small quick nuggets to your learner, that definitely will bring down the whole cost of creating your content and distributing it to the end users. And last but not the least, just learning on the move. I think because mobile being available into the pocket and everybody having accessibility to it 24/7, not like your desktop. So it is a perception which has been created that it is always on the move. I get to see and look at my mobile. But there was one research and which I come across during my reading, which says that in a day every learner or every user who is using mobile phone do touch their mobile phone for seeing what is happening at least 60 to 70 times or more than that in a day. So which means that it's not only on the move. Learner always like to see some things quickly. So let's say, as Ujjwal was mentioning, one of the example, the context and the content example. So yes, if somebody is stuck in some situation, or else if somebody needs some just-in-time help, that time also mobile acts as a very good enabler to support and help the users, and we can leverage on this technology very well. We can leverage on mobile learning that time. So yes, this is a kind of myth that this is just on the move. I think we need to explore the opportunities, what all things we can deliver through mobile learning, and based on that we need to strategize the whole mLearning initiative. So with this, I just would like to kind of conclude our thoughts on this, that on mobile learning, and I hope we have served the purpose of you attending the webinar, and we were able to give you some insights which will help you to make your decision. So just the final thoughts from our end. mLearning strategy is a moving target. So it is not something which is permanent. It is not something which is implemented once and then carried on for years or ages, because technology is changing. This mobile is a space which is really mobile and changing very fast. So it is a kind of mobile moving target, and everybody who is thinking of doing this or is already doing it, I'm sure they must have experienced this thing while doing that. And things will start evolving over a period of time, and as a implementer or initiator of this whole initiative, we believe that you need to keep chasing this target. So with this, I kind of would like to thank you everyone for joining this webinar. Those who are not visited our website, so there are few free resources available. Like you can have an ebook on mobile learning, which is a kind of quick start guide. So it talks about various things, what are challenges that you should come across, and you'd be coming across, and how you should encounter those. Secondly, there is a white paper published on mobile learning here and now, which is one of the most popular white paper across. Of course, there are some recordings or on webinars which talks about e-learning on tablets and all that. So we would be happy to extend those resources to you, which are free resources, and you can get those either from our website, or else you can just send us a request, and we will be happy to address that. So thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for taking out time, and we do appreciate your time for this. We have 3 more minutes to take up a few questions. So if we can take up some questions, I would be happy to address those. If we could not take up all, we definitely would like to get back to you with answers to your questions which have been published on our chat window. So can we have the questions, please? Yeah, so there is one question from one of the participants asking that how difficult it is to convert e-learning courses or content for mLearning. So Ujjwal, would you like to take that up?
Yeah, thank you for the query. See, in my experience, I've seen that content needs to maybe the same content when reorganized and fitting onto a mobile. You might, as I said, you have e-learning, a course already developed onto e-learning. You want to bring it. Identify your resolutions. You can modify it. Creating it is easy. It just don't expect it to look exactly. If possible, it can look exactly the same as how it looks on the desktop also, provided it is created right. And though you might, what is going horizontal because you have much more landscape over there, might just go vertical on the mobile as opposed to on the desktop. So creating e-learning or content that you already have for mLearning is possible, and we've done this in the past also. From a usability point also, majority of the usabilities or functionalities can be kept as is. Only they would be looking a little different in terms of UI, as well as restructuring might be needed in terms of the content layout.
Yeah, thanks, Ujjwal. I think I also have a few pointers on this. Is like this primarily the decision depends on the kind of objective that you want to achieve at the end of the day with this putting this content on mobile. And if you can derive that, that definitely would be helpful. So I think thank you for the questions. I think I could see a few other questions as well into the window panel, but we are running short of the time. So we would be happy to come back to you with the answers for your queries separately, and we will be publishing that in our blog as well if possible. So thank you, gentlemen. Post this, there would be a small survey from our team. We request you to just participate in that, which will help us to improve ourselves for our future webinars as well. So thank you everyone, and have a great day ahead, and thanks for taking your time. Have a great day.